I unmuted.
Move to open the meeting at 7.
Motion to open the meeting at 7 o'clock. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so welcome to the November 8th, 2023 meeting of the Groveland Conservation Commission. And we only have one hearing this evening, the continuation of 912 Salem Street, and have several other things to discuss and standard items after that. So we'll proceed. So is there a motion to reopen the hearing for 912 Salem Street?
Motion to reopen the hearing for 912 Salem.
Second.
Moved in second. All in favor of reopen the hearing for 912 Salem Street, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous. Okay, so, let's see. If you commissioners recall, we did a site visit, and on October 11th, and we saw where the building was going to go, saw the surrounding wetland buffer, and the building we saw was going to be, as proposed, was placed in that open field with only grading being done in the buffer zone. And let's see, that was about it, I think, so far. Revisions. Oh, we talked about the revisions that they were proposing and information about natural heritage. Found that there were no adverse effects. And they issued a conditional no-take for Landing's Turtle with some conditions on that. All right. So, what do we have? An update from TEC on the stormwater management?
So, present, we have Bill Burnham here with TEC. He's been performing a lot of the as-built, or not the as-built review, I'm sorry, a lot of the peer review for this project, specifically the stormwater. So I asked him to be here because a lot of the work taking place in the buffer zone for this project is stormwater. So if the commission has any questions about that, Bill is here. April is also here with RJ O'Connell. At the planning board meeting last Monday, the board was presented with the plans that had been presented to the commission that we had looked at, and many of the board members expressed a desire to see a access road go around the entire building for fire safety, as not all four sides of the building were accessible to a fire truck or police, but mostly fire for safety. So within the last week, RJ O'Connell has been working on a revised plan to show that what an access road around the back would look like. We only just got this, so I know the plans aren't final, but I'll let April take the rest away. And again, Bill is here if we have any questions regarding the stormwater.
Yeah, good evening, commissioners. That was a pretty concise thing. You stole my presentation. Thank you. No, I appreciate it, actually. Yeah, just as she said, this is a plan that we've put together that you see up there that shows an access around the building based on input from the planning board. It's a 16-foot wide access drive aisle. Like the other pavement that's on the site would put a curb around it and would have to add a catch basin or two to pick up the stormwater that would come off of it and run that through the infiltration basin. But we also wanted to come and discuss with you folks. Oh, thank you so much. All right. You'll see up on the screen there is a portion of this drive that crosses over the 100-foot buffer, which is that orange line closest to the building. And I guess it's not really visible great on there. There's actually a blue hatch that shows the area as well, but you can see it. I mean, it's the portion that crosses over. And so we went back and read through the bylaw, and, you know, our interpretation is that based on what the use of this is for, being just access for the fire and for the, you know, emergency vehicles. There's no other parking back there. There's not even a door on that side of the building. There's no reason for any sort of vehicle to linger there, park there. We felt that it would be allowable within the 100-foot buffer. And so we wanted to confirm that with you folks. And then once we have that, we will get in and do the grading and the drainage adjustments that go along with it.
Well, that was going to be my first question is, are there any major changes? I mean, you're putting in a different retention pond, or you're expanding it?
So, yeah, so actually the plan before that, Annie, is actually yeah, that's actually the original plan that we did.
Okay.
And you see we've got the 2 surface basins in purple there. And this one had a section of the parking within the 100-foot, which based on our original meeting, we moved everything page right. The building got a little bit smaller. One of the access aisles got smaller, and we shifted everything over to get the parking area outside the 100-foot. So that's different from even what Tech has reviewed.
What's the most recent plan?
The very first page
Can you go back to that?
is right.
Or, I'm
So-
sorry, is there a way to overlay that with the retention pond?
Not with Adobe.
Because it looks like,
So
just
the
intuitively, it looks like you're going to have to start the grading a little further out, which means you're going to push everything back another, how wide is the driveway?
yeah, so the driveway is 16 feet. Yeah, and I did, that pond right there it's pretty close to the same size as the other pond that we had, but it's a different shape, and obviously it's in a different
Right.
spot.
And you're not going to have to move it 16 feet further toward the wetlands.
No, but we
Because some of
did,
that was already flat.
right, we did have to move it based on some comments from Tech. We needed to have an access around the top of the surface basins,
Right.
and to incorporate that in, we had to move the location of it.
Even further.
Right, so that we could get that access around the entire top. We have a 10-foot wide
No, you
berm
don't
around
want
the
it
top.
Like falling off the side.
Right, and then we had, you know, in the version that we were working on, we had the grading coming down so that you could access it with like a mower or what have you, wheelbarrow, so that you could maintain it. So that is, and that still will be a little bit different, but certainly more in line with what the peer review was. And this, we haven't fully flushed out what the grading will be based on having this new access aisle, so I can't 100% tell you if it might need to move back a little bit more into like where the open orange is, maybe not even on that side. Yeah, maybe a little bit more over there just because of grading to get this access aisle in. But we haven't finalized that because we didn't want to basically do all the work and then not be able to do it. So, but besides that, so that basin again is about the same size as what was out there before. The other difference that you're going to see on there is the basin that's on the left-hand side is now underground. It's not going to be a surface basin anymore. And part of that was to pull the grading away from not only the property line, but also the wetland. So in doing this, we don't have to have that big berm around the top anymore, and that adds 20 feet, you know, total, because it's 10 feet each side. So we lose that. We ended up pulling the grading up a little bit to try to, respect it a little bit more and also pull the grading away from the abutters, which I know was a comment that Tech had before as well. So we were trying to address some of that stuff. So,
So is there a way that we can tentatively say, if the planning board wants fire access there, we don't have an objection pending the grading and the revised retention pond not being egregiously bigger? Can we
so-
do that?
Well, I disagree with the interpretation of our bylaw here, that somehow this road would be allowed just because it's called something different. But, I think that personally, I would be open to it if it were unpaved and called an emergency access way with an emergency use only signage put on both sides of it.
So that it were pervious instead of impervious.
Yes, and also that it doesn't get regular use, it's only for emergency use.
But that's going to be, I don't want to make their argument for them, because I'm sure they'll make it as soon as I stop talking, but if there needs to be snow plowing in the winter, it's going to turn it into a mess. And you're going to need, if it's emergency access, it's going to need to be all the time. It's not going to need to be, well, you can only deal with fires from April to November.
That would be nice.
Well, it'd be cool if we could do that, but
So you would have to have it open year-round.
But I'm thinking it would have to be open year-round, and I'm thinking the only way to do that without having it turn into a total quagmire would be to have it paved. In principle, Mike, I completely agree with everything you've said,
Yes.
but I don't think it's practical.
Well, okay, but how are you going to make this exception from the bylaw?
Well, we have to decide whether it is an exception or not.
I think it is an exception.
But that's you, and there's 7 of us.
No, I know, but our prior practice has been we don't allow anything on a commercial project within the 100-foot buffer. We've argued that point. Plenty of people have come forward, they want to do a little bit in there, and we say, no, you can't do it. And I don't want to make an exception just like that, and we say, oh, well, this is okay because it's not really a road, it's not really a.
Well, they didn't say it wasn't a
parking
road, they
lot.
said it wasn't a parking lot.
Yes, right. So I don't like that.
Well, I mean, obviously, people plow dirt roads or, stone roads, things like that. It probably would take some additional upkeep, after every winter. But, I mean, and not to send you guys back to the drawing board, but I think I had the same feeling that I would rather see it unpaved. I mean, is there anything that drives you to having that paved? You had to provide access. Did anybody say it needs to be sort of a continuous material around the building?
I wasn't at the planning board meeting, but I don't think that was.
At the planning board meeting, they were very considerate and said that it can be unpaved. I think the Conservation Commission will like that more.
Ha, 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 ha.
So they didn't have any feeling one way or another. They really were just more so concerned about a fire truck being able to access all 4 sides of the building.
The hoses can go around the corner, though.
I don't make
Well,
those
I
arguments
know.
with
I'm
them.
just- But
And how much, is the footprint of the building smaller now? Excuse me.
From the original submittal,
But
it's,
that's the current dimensions.
it is smaller from the original. It's 2,000 square feet smaller than
Right,
it
what
was
I'm saying
before.
is-
here is
Does this diagram represent that's got the road in it now?
Yeah, this is just,
That's the current proposed
Yeah, although the grading is not correct,
grading's-
because
the
the,
grading has
the
to be
grading,
updated,
right,
right.
the grading was without that access drive there, the grading was what I was gonna submit to you guys, 2 days before we went to the planning board, and then we went to the planning board.
Yeah,
So, yes, that is the current layout,
got
other
no
than the
wiggle on
grading.
moving the building a little closer to the road.
It's, that lower corner is right up against the
So
50
the answer
foot.
is no.
The answer is no, yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm looking for.
That's fair.
And to bring it into complete compliance, you'd have to shave off another, how many feet is that, 10?
The access drive, it's,
16?
you'd
Almost
probably need
16.
16
Put the
feet.
building right up to the 100-foot.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is very clear.
yes.
So you'd have to take out 16 by, what is that, about 40,
The width of the building is 80,
80,
yes.
16. Okay, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so that's a lot of square footage. Well, is it? 800, 12, that's another 1,200 square feet. Because if a teeny bit more was shaved off, you could at least start bringing the paved section in a little closer and shorten the amount of unpaved.
Mm-hmm.
Bill? Agree, disagree?
I mean, the math, yeah, I agree.
All right, all right.
Yeah, but.
But that's still fundamental, well, but then we're saying, but then what we're saying is, we can keep we can keep it as, if we brought it down,
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, Terry. It's just that at some point you're making it economically unfeasible for the project.
well, that's for them to tell us.
Yeah, do we know that? I mean, none of this has happened yet.
They did discuss that at the planning board meeting, that shaving, I mean, I don't know if you can speak to it more, but Steve mentioned that cutting down the building anymore cuts out more tenants that they could potentially have, and
Right. What I'm suggesting is not the full 16, maybe like 4, would bring it in enough so that it would pull a longer section that could be out of the 100-foot that could be then paved. Just 4 feet would add like another 10 feet of paved section.
I'm just thinking of the future, when the next project comes in and they want another exception for something else. You know, then how do we argue that we've never done this before?
Well, I would say not to set precedent, and not that I'm for it. I'm still for the unpaved.
Yeah.
But if we can't get around it, then this was for emergency vehicles. If, that would be my, I guess, step back. If we can't get around this, then it would say, we would say anything in the future could only be done if there was, an overriding factor like emergency.
Right, so, that's what I'm saying, calling it an emergency access way unpaved.
Unpaved. Well, you're convincing me, Mike. Sometimes your stubbornness works.
No, like I say, I think we have to take into account that it's gonna make it so that the project can't go forward if you don't allow this, because they've already cut out 2,000 square feet out of their original
Right.
idea. So to have them cut out another 1,200 square feet, I'm sure sooner or later it's gonna make it unfeasible to pay for itself.
So
Let's
your
make a
concern
motion
is,
then.
on the unpaved, is that it's not gonna be maintained or gonna be,
It's not, no, I'm sure it'll be maintained, because it's in their interest to maintain
yeah,
it.
and we can also make sure that it's within the 100-foot buffer that we can
That we
stipulate that it
have
has to be
jurisdiction
maintained.
there, and we can tell them,
Correct.
look, yeah,
And then still put a curb around to prevent any erosion going down.
which
into
they're
the-
gonna do anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, somebody do a motion. Let's move this along.
Well,
I mean, but don't we need to see the final
Yeah, so
Print,
all we can
blueprint?
say is that's what we would like to see on the plan.
Okay.
You know, obviously, you probably can't make that decision tonight, so.
But you can show us the previous one and just sort of indicate with arm waving. You have a little laser pointer.
Annie gave me a little laser pointer,
So
yeah.
Why don't you
That's-
pull up that other one and just say,
pretty
this part
sweet.
here is likely to be out here. And we won't hold it to, we won't hold you to it.
You also, just as a reminder, have TEC here if the board has any, or, I'm sorry, if the commission has any questions for them about the stormwater from their peer
Well,
review standpoint.
I guess, do we need to talk about the stormwater? Like, is there anything specific?
Well, as has been said, they got rid, they put one of the retention ponds underground, so that's a good thing.
Yep, but they might add one or two.
Well, it's going to be more runoff. There's going to be, although if we're now doing pervious surface, then there's going to be less runoff, but it's still going to be 16 by 80, whatever that is. I can't do math anymore.
I mean, it's still another like 1,300 square feet. And it's still, you know, it's still going to be collected and put into the infiltration basin because,
Should be less
There's-
of it if it's a permeable surface.
right, yeah, I mean, the CN will go down a little bit, but
there'll
but
be
it's still a
some-
drivable
Even a
surface,
dirt
so.
road is going to have runoff.
Right, right, exactly. Yeah, so I don't think, you know, we do have a little bit of extra room in some of the basins, so I'm hoping that they're actually not going to change that much from what you see up there. Because it is just one other section that's getting there. But we need to go back and do the math. So the basin may, you know, either the shape may change a little bit, or, you know, there might be a different orifice, you know, in the outlet control for it. And yeah, I'm not going to know that until we actually do the math, unfortunately.
Did I miss the TEC's information that they might have already released to us, or?
TEC issued a first round of comments probably about a month ago.
Okay,
But TEC hasn't yet received these final calculations,
Okay.
as April was saying.
okay.
But I had included those in the last meeting
In the
packet.
last
But I
meeting
figured
packet.
since we already know so much is gonna change from those, that I didn't think it was worth it to include in this one, quite
I mean-
frankly. But apologies if you wanted it.
Okay.
But
No, I'll look at,
if you wanna, again, Bill is here for the commission if you wanna hear what he has to say, but.
yeah. Bill, what do you have to say?
Hello. I did get a chance to take a peek at the plans themselves. I sadly didn't get too long to look at them today, just considering when they were released. The big concern I have is access to Basin 2. Right now, you're showing a retaining wall right against that edge on the top of the structure itself, and guardrails surrounding any open edge. So I'm not sure how maintenance would occur within
Yeah,
that
that's-
basin. I know this is a prelim design, but
Yeah.
on the right side, you have
Exactly.
a property
That
line,
was
and the
just a
left side, you
placeholder
have,
for now.
yeah, no, I mean, that was the two big concerns I have. I mean, you have a pretty steep slope coming off your left edge. So, I mean, that's something that can be reworked, but it's definitely a concern that I was observing initially. Coming out as well, you have a lot of HDPE pipes. I know, like you had mentioned before, that you guys had just recently added the retaining wall, added the access path. So I know a lot of the piping will probably be altered in your final rendition, but we're still seeing HDPE pipes through retaining walls, which is something we definitely had a concern with. Just mostly on, you know, how exactly that's supposed to be supported.
Yeah, and so, again, this is just the retaining wall that's back there right now, that's shown, was just put on there as a placeholder. I
Yep.
don't actually believe there's going to be a retaining wall around the entire back of it, because we
Okay.
need to get access. And we had made other changes on on Basin 1, basically, where we had shifted where the wall was so that the piping was outside of the wall at this point. And I know your comment being that the piping going to 2 is right now shown underneath that wall in the back, but we're
Yeah.
gonna end up moving that so that it's not, so that we have access to the basin, and that should give us the access to having the pipe not under a wall. Yeah, if you can imagine this plan without the wall and without the access path, we had adjusted the piping so that it was outside of where we were proposing all the walls. And we had created a path to get down there that's, that grading, to get down to the basin for maintenance there. So it will be in the same vein as that, because we know that was one of your comments before. So we'll definitely be paying attention to that.
Okay. The only other thing I noticed initially, in the subsurface system 1, right now you're showing a SAS field, that one in the, right where your cursor is right now. That SAS field is about 40 feet away from that infiltration basin.
Yep.
I know that's most likely a reserve, if I had to guess, but I know that's not under Title V. Title V, you need 50 feet.
Actually, Title V, you only need 25 feet from, you need 50 feet from a surface basin, but you only need 25 feet from an infiltration basin that's underground. So that is acceptable in accordance with Title V.
Believe with something though that's at a higher elevation, though, you do need the 50.
From Title V?
I believe so. Yeah.
We can look that
If
up.
it's above, because your subsurface is going to be placed below your SAS system right now. I mean, I don't know any inverts or anything, so I have no idea.
Yeah.
But until we have inverts, we won't have any clue. But
Yeah.
right now, just the way it's positioned, grading wise, it appears that way.
No, yes, it would be higher up, most likely, or similar elevation. Again, yeah, I'm not really sure 100%.
No, but I mean, it's also in a position where it's workable. I mean, you have space going down as well, so it's not like it's in a position that's unusable by any means.
Right.
But yeah.
But-
No, it was just a concern I happened to notice, like, while initially looking at this as well. Outside of access to the top basin and the proximity of the SAS system to your subsurface, we haven't spotted anything initially that was, also really concerning, but.
Okay, great. Yeah, no, I mean, we'll definitely pay attention to that. And I'll take another look at Title V to see if I can find what you're referencing there.
Okay.
So, should we continue the hearing?
Yeah, does anyone have any questions about the stormwater
It
management?
sounds like they have some stuff they need to resolve
Yeah.
by next meeting, and I'm pretty sure that both of them will be all over it. And onto the road. It seems like the consensus is we'd be inclined to approve it pending seeing the grading plan and the retention pond plan and the fact that it would be permeable surface for the section inside the buffer zone and signed for emergency vehicle use only.
Yep.
Sounds like we're leaning overwhelmingly in favor of that.
Okay.
But the good news is the word favors in there.
Yeah. No, and I understand that, you guys obviously can't vote until we give you final plans and until Tech has had an opportunity to take another look at it and give their okay to it. But I appreciate you taking the time and giving us feedback so that we at least have marching orders forward to get something that will work with everybody.
We're not completely shutting you down. We just don't want a swimming pool in the wetlands.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Don't design that in there. So
No
move to
further
continue.
questions? Are you making a motion?
I'm thinking about it. Move to continue this hearing to We're in November.
December 13th.
Sorry, December 15th?
December
13th.
13th, December 13th.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions on the motion? No? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Unanimous.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
And thank you, Bill. I really appreciate your expertise. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So next we have a seasonal waiver request for 8 Merrimack River Road regarding some tree removals that we'd already permitted.
Yes, 8 Merrimack River Road, this was, I don't know if you guys remember Michael Bacher. He sold his home, it has a new owner, and I had originally gone out to speak with him about it. He doesn't want to remove any more trees, but Steve Collins is present, he's the one who is slated to do the work, and I'll just let Steve take it away.
Did we close the hearing?
Sorry?
Yes,
Did we close the hearing?
No,
Move to continue it.
yeah.
Oh, so we don't close it, we just move on?
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
sorry. Thank you.
Hi, Steve.
Hi, Steve Collins, Collins Family Tree Experts. I was contacted by Paul Thompson, he lives at 8 Merrimack River Road. He's got a very steep slope down to his backyard, down by the river. It's very wet and soft, especially this year. So I was informed by him that I think we had a timeline up until, I think, October 1st was the cutoff to do it. 31st. And as we know, this is a pretty tough year to do work in a wet area. So we held off on doing the work. Went down today, took some pictures. I have them on my phone of the trees. You know, there's like 8 or 10 ash trees ranging from maybe 16 inches to 18 inches in diameter up to 30 or more. And they're very dead. They're becoming compromised as we're moving forward. So I'm coming as trying to get a waiver so we can complete this work during the winter under frozen conditions, because it's just so soft down there. Not only for our benefit, because it will make the job easier, I'm not gonna lie, you know, it will make our job easier. But it also, you know, there's gonna be I don't know about big equipment down there, but there'll be a track-driven lift down there. There'll be a tractor. There'll be a lot of moving around, a lot of chunks flying, because we can't, I looked at it over and over. There isn't a crane in the Northeast that could reach these trees, you know, they're 300-foot, 340-foot radius from the driveway. We just can't do it. So it all has to be brought up manually. And I just think that under frozen conditions, we can go down there, take down the trees with very minimal damage to the property, to the riverbank. And I think that the longer we put this off and the trees become more compromised, they could uproot and fall, and then there's gonna be more problems for the riverbank and such, you know, going forward, so.
How many
That's-
days do you think it'll take?
I would think that at most, it would take us 2, maybe a third day for cleanup. But it would not be 3 full days of work, you know, it would be like maybe a day and then another day to get all the debris out. And then, you know, we'll have to touch up and stuff like that, you know. But
Would the touch-up require equipment or just wheelbarrows and stuff?
no wheelbarrows. I mean, it would be a Kubota tractor, 20
Okay, so
horse.
You need a tractor.
Yeah, it's
So-
not a big farm tractor, it's not an
Right, right.
excavator. We're talking
It's
something.
not a wheelbarrow either.
No, it's slightly bigger than a riding mower, you know what I mean? You're not talking an enormous machine. But when you're taking up, you know, 90-foot tall trees,
of
8-foot
stuff.
log lengths, and you're moving around, you're picking them up, and it does make a disturbance, you know, so.
How many trees did you say it is?
I think there's 8 in total, 8 or 10. I'm not, I have the proposal, but I just don't have it with me. But I
Okay.
believe it's 8 or 10. They're all marked, and they were the original trees. He didn't add on any more trees than he initially came and got. Was it him or was it the previous owner?
Was the
It was
previous-
Michael Bacher.
Okay,
But
so I'm
yeah.
not working with Michael Bacher. It's the new owner. I think his name's Paul Thompson. And so, yeah, they didn't mark any more trees. They're the initial trees that were granted permission. We're just asking to do it under a timeline that I think better fits the job, but you guys are the experts on the matter, so that's why I'm here.
So Rebecca, what's,
Rebecca,
yeah, sorry, Vanessa,
that's nice.
I can't keep it. Sorry about that. Annie,
It's an
I would.
absolute compliment,
I
so
personally would also.
that's fine with me.
I apologize.
Don't worry.
Annie, wha- what is the waiver fee for 3 days of external work? I can't remember how we did that now.
So we don't really specify for tree work. We have excavation. Well, I guess no, this would count. It would be $200 a day for a single family home.
And if he ended up only taking 2 days, it would just be charged for 2 days?
Like with all of our
Yeah,
permits.
like anything
Or
else.
waivers, I'm sorry.
So the best thing is to come in with a request that's longer than you expect, and then.
Yeah,
they'll
now,
charge you.
I know, if Paul's watching this, he's gonna be saying, get it done in one day.
Say a week, but yeah, 3 days, if you think you can get it in 2 or 3, say
Yeah,
3.
there isn't much that I can't do in 3 days, let's put it that way.
And so, Steve, when do you expect to do it? Sometime between now and the end of the year?
So, yeah, that's another topic of conversation. You know how many jobs last year that I said we should come and do this when it's frozen, and it never froze? So me and Paul have had that conversation as well, I said to him, hey, listen, frozen sounds great, until it doesn't freeze. So I guess that's kind of, whatever, up to Mother Nature. We can do it if there's snow, I can move the snow, we can get in there and work. Obviously, it'd be best if it wasn't snow, safety-wise, it's like a, makes VZ look like a little bump, it's very steep down there,
Yeah, I remember.
Well, should we say between now and the end of January?
Or
Get a week?
might as well say the end of February.
Yeah, I think that would be smart,
All right, all right.
give us a window, and then if,
Give us like a week's notice,
oh, yeah,
just so, if we have any concerns.
oh, yeah,
That'll give
yeah.
us time to respond.
And then what happens if, say, we don't get any, say it rains and it's 40 all winter? Can I come back in and we can talk about this again, doing this, or how does that work? Say we have a lousy year and it doesn't freeze up and it's, muddy and sloppy down there and even worse than it is this summer. How does that work? Can I come back in and discuss it with you?
So we're either giving you the waiver or not,
Okay,
Yeah.
right? I mean, you've
But you
asked for
just
a
said
waiver,
until
we're gonna say, Yes,
February.
But we're talking, but that's for the waiver, that's.
Oh,
not for-
okay.
The job in general, I think it's been approved, right?
Yep.
yeah.
oh,
We
okay.
would
so
like
then
it to not be digging up half the banks of the Merrimack, but, if it ends up being a little bit rough on the.
That could happen
It could happen
when he's
anytime.
allowed to do it.
Yeah, when he's already been allowed to, so.
But I mean, even in the spring, in the summer.
You can go in there April 15th afterwards, you don't even need to talk to us. You've
Okay,
been given
I just
approval.
wasn't sure how that worked.
But it's the winter thing.
Okay, cool.
And, yeah, I think if we get like a week's notice when you say it's getting cold, we're
Yes.
going in,
That would be awesome.
and that'll
for
give us
me.
a chance, if we even want to, we may just say, go right ahead.
I think if you get to March, wait till April
Yeah, just-
15th. and-
Yeah, no, we're gonna go with it that it's gonna freeze up. I have a lot of stuff I gotta
It's
do.
gonna be a cold winter
I hope so.
myself.
And
No
you,
snow.
you leave the stumps in, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
just cut them as flush as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. I told him, and he was in agreement with that. He said, let's definitely leave them.
Now, they need to be, this isn't our jurisdiction, but do they need to be disposed of any particular way, because the
Ash?
ash borer or anything?
Well, considering this whole area is, under quarantine, as long as you're staying within this area, you know what I
As long as
mean?
you're not
It's-
moving them into something.
Yeah, interstate, but even so, I mean, if you look at the maps, New Hampshire, I mean, everything is affected.
everywhere, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, bugs don't know state border
No.
lines,
No,
So, yeah,
all right.
Somebody want to make a motion?
I was just about to. Move to approve a 3-day waiver of the seasonal restriction at $200 a day up to, or pending how many actual days are used, through the end of February 2024.
Second.
Yeah, so up to 3 days,
Up to
right?
3 days. Excuse me.
That was seconded?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions on the motion then? No, we all understand. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous.
All right, you're free to go.
Thank
Thank
you very
you.
much.
So we'll get a letter. We'll issue a letter to the owner, and so I'll have that as a
Okay.
record.
I'll
If
get
there's
you a copy
anything-
too.
Yeah, you have my email. Just send it, if there's anything else I need to do, so. All right, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate it a lot.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, next, we have acceptance of 2 properties from Mr. James Bussing. They're parcel 43003D and 4300330.
Those on King Street, or where?
No, both of these properties are on Evergreen Lane. One of them is on the corner of Rocky Woods and Evergreen, and that one's about a half an acre, little over, maybe like 0.6 acres. And the other one is on Evergreen Lane, and it's probably about a quarter of an acre, if it's even that.
Annie, can you put, okay.
Are they abutting each other?
No.
or They're just kind of little islands of,
Yes.
do they have any, well, okay.
So, the reason why I went and looked at them, and they're really, the one on the corner of Evergreen and Rocky Woods is open. I think there's the person that lives next to it is encroaching on it a bit, but that one has some value because it's kept, the person that lives next door seems to maintain it. It's got some nice trees on it, and it's a grassy area. So kind of fits in with just keeping the area green. The other one is all treed, and it's wet, and it's also fenced around it from the person living next door to that one. So, again, it's really only a matter of adding to the open space feel of the neighborhood. Unfortunately, these were kind of leftover pieces before the planning board the planning board does a better job now of having developers incorporate little pieces of land into some of the lots, like they did on Katy Lane with 2 of the lots where they had some unbuildable areas, and they just incorporated those into 2 of the parcels. So before that, unfortunately, there's a few of these little squares of land here and there. We do own a property off of Evergreen Lane. It's a landlocked parcel. It's not accessible directly from the street. But there are 2 other parcels near it that I'm hoping that we can get the current owners to donate to the commission. Then we could actually have, a little conservation area with most of the properties connectable, except for that little one.
So sorry, what did you say the area of this little piece is?
The smallest one is about a quarter of an acre, and the larger one is about 0.6 acres.
So altogether, they're not even an acre.
Right, but,
Has there been an effort to sell them to the abutters?
yeah,
Because it really doesn't seem like an especially valuable from a wetland standpoint.
Well, it's valuable, one of them, the smaller one is, because it's all wet there. The larger one, like I say, its value is more green space, there's no wetlands on it.
But the abutter there is just gonna treat it as extra,
Yeah, that's all right if he maintains it for us,
Buy
that's
the land
fine.
if you get the milk for free.
We just don't want him putting any structures on it.
well, maybe we should put some structures on it. It might convince them to buy it.
Okay.
So I recommend we accept these two donations. He's offering the town 2 other parcels, which I didn't think were worth taking because we don't own anything near them. One was a very thin strip over there near Merrimack River Road. It's totally.
Was that an old right-of-way or something?
Yeah, it's just a
This-
leftover little piece
It
of
was
land.
done
you know?
intentionally when the Merrimack River Road subdivision was done, so that the children on this road would be able to access the school. There is a little path
It's like an easement.
through in a way, it would have been better if they had just done an actual easement, quite frankly, than just split off this piece of land, but, there's that one.
And then there's
Interesting.
another one on the corner of Merrimack River Road and Main Street, right there. Again, that one, it's wet, it will never be built on, but we don't have anything near there at all, so it's like, I don't really think that one is worth taking. So Rebecca is gonna deal with those. I
Okay.
think the town will take these 2.
Okay.
Huh. So he just doesn't want to pay taxes on them.
Yeah, I mean, he's had, how long since they built both of these developments go back to, the early 90s, so he's been paying the taxes on them for 40 years.
Okay.
All right, so I'll motion that we accept the 2 donations of 43003D and 43003 near Evergreen Lane.
Second.
Any further questions or discussions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
And 1 absent, so that passes 4 to 0 to 1. Okay, next is an update on 447 Main Street replanting. So this is the, that 6-acre parcel that Mr. Harper, the owner of the property, if you recall, cut down several trees on that parcel within the 200-foot buffer without any permit. And we put together a plan to replace quite a bit of the vegetation that was removed with some evergreens, some blueberry bushes, et cetera. And so Annie and I went to look at it, and we think it looks pretty good. So the only
They
question,
planted?
yeah, it's all done.
Oh, wow, all we did was give them the thing and they used it and they
Picnic
planted?
bench and all.
Am I allowed to go take a look at it too?
Well, we can do a site visit
I would
if
love
you
to,
want.
can we?
Sure.
On that note, Kevin Snow, the general manager of the light department, they're looking to potentially purchase that parcel as their substation's right there.
They're gonna take it,
Yeah. Oh, right, because Harper's
yeah,
just gonna,
not purchase.
but, just, he'll be in attendance at the site visit that we scheduled.
Oh, he's gonna come
He's not
too?
taking the part that's planted, though.
It's
Yeah,
one
it
whole
is.
parcel.
All 6 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're taking the whole thing.
Okay, but,
They're not gonna put they're not,
Yeah, they're
It's
not
not
gonna
gonna-
do anything with that.
I mean, I
property.
remember that this was part of the plan in the beginning. I'm just, what's the point of planting it if he's just gonna put?
No,
gonna
he's-
put
He's
anything
not gonna
there.
put anything within 200 feet, so.
Okay, good.
they have their substation their substation's never gonna expand to be 6
Don't
acres.
say, oh, it's 6 acres, yeah.
I mean,
Acres is a long time, too.
Well, they were just looking for places to store things.
Yeah, they're
right?
gonna cut down some stuff, but it's gonna be outside of the jurisdiction.
they have enough cleared area right now where I can't imagine within any of our lifetimes they would need to, I said any of our lifetimes, that they would need to expand. I mean, we can talk to Kevin at the site visit about it
Yeah,
too.
okay, when do you want to do that?
I will also note, since Mike and I saw it, the trees that have been cut down and left there, that was part of National Grid or whoever owns those power lines. It was part of their routine utility maintenance, and Kevin was looking, I mean, it's not really our jurisdiction, but they just want to remove the logs and the branches and everything that National Grid just left there, so.
Yeah, that's outside.
In
of
the area that was cleared?
No, it's right along the power lines, but
Okay.
he just wanted to check in with us,
It's
which I,
outside of the 200.
Okay.
feet.
and they're already cut down. He just wants to make it look neater because they're just left there in big piles.
Okay.
So, do we want to do this on a weekday or a Saturday?
I happen to be free this weekend.
I happen to be away this weekend.
Next Wednesday, if it's during the day, or Friday, anytime. Friday the
I like
17th?
Friday.
Friday the 17th?
Friday the 17th.
Since it gets dark early, I probably won't be able to attend.
Bring your night vision goggles.
I got a flashlight. Pretty bright.
That's gonna blind somebody with night vision.
That's okay.
What time does it get
Part of your
dark?
plan?
Well, by the time next week, end of next week rolls around, it'll be dark by 4:45.
Yeah, it's sunset at 4:30. today.
4:30, yes.
Or 4:28, I think.
So we should probably meet at like 3:30 if we're gonna do.
Yeah.
3:30.
earlier.
I'm coming back from St. Louis, so I'm not gonna be around.
On Friday?
Next Friday, the sun will set at 4:20.
It's slowing down. It's gradually gonna stop getting shorter. I promise.
December
Doesn't seem that
20th.
way right now,
It
but I
doesn't.
promise. The days will get longer.
Hopefully.
Maybe, if that's not a good day,
You wanna do it next Saturday?
I have to work next weekend. I'm around the 25th, which is Thanksgiving weekend.
I hate that idea. How about, the following Monday?
I,
So the 20th, is that?
unfortunately, now I work every single Monday and every single Wednesday and every single Thursday.
Oh, how about Tuesday, the 21st?
Oh,
That's fine.
That's-
with me.
Inclusive,
That's
though.
the last day that I work in Boston on a weekday.
So you're gonna be out pattying?
No, but I don't get done until 8 o'clock at night. so.
Oh, on Tuesday.
Tuesday, the 21st, correct.
How
And then you
about
work Wednesday, and then you work Thursday, and all of a sudden
Tuesday,
you
the
work Friday.
28th? Tuesday, the 28th.
Let's do Tuesday, the 28th.
Yes.
Unless the weekend is better.
Tuesday, the
I mean, because if Rich can't make it, what about Saturday, the 2nd?
No, let's get it,
Shoot for the 28th.
let's shoot for the 28th.
Okay. 3:30?
Yes.
So excited.
You're excited.
It was my planting plan,
It was.
and they said it looks good.
Yep.
Do you like blueberries?
Eric Harper does.
Yeah, Mr. Harper does.
Yes, right.
He was planning to put in a blueberry plantation.
Right.
All right, the next item is Uptack Road culvert. So both Annie and I have looked at it. separately and together, and we believe that it has regrown, and we can issue their certificate of compliance, right, Annie?
Yes, I went out there today. Everything looks good.
And that's just the town?
Stabilized. Correct. Yep.
Yeah.
That was a town project.
All right. Is there something for us to sign?
Yes, there's a few things, so I can just pass the whole thing around in one go, but there's one.
But you're gonna tell us about them first, is that your deal?
Yeah, I figured. That way, that's all.
I feel you.
This was off, sorry.
All right, so we'll do that. Oh, we have to vote on it?
Not really, if we sign it.
Not
that's-
really.
No, I mean, we
For
don't need to
certificate?
vote on it because we're
Signature
signing
is
it,
your
so.
vote.
Okay.
Savory Lane,
So these certificate of compliances are for orders of conditions that were issued in 1997.
that was Couilliard's property back in the day?
I don't know if it was Couillard, but I know Larry Kelly was the one who did not get the certificate of compliance like he was supposed to. One is for the well for the property, and the other is for a dock, but the dock was never built. So it's just to close out the order of conditions. They are looking to sell the property, so they're just getting all their ducks in a row. But I did a site inspection on Monday. I mean, it's been done since 1997, so it's just
Oh,
clean title.
I'm thinking of a different place.
Yeah, right.
I'm thinking of
What's that on the other side?
what's Savory, was it Savory Mansion?
Savory Woods.
Savory Woods, that was Couilliard's.
Oh, okay. That's Lindsay Way now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it?
I don't think there's a Savory Woods.
It was
But it
two-
used to be the old Savory house. that,
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What's his name lived in? Anyway,
So you will see 4 signatures. One is for the certificate of compliance for UpTac, or sorry, I'll go in order. So the first one is for the certificate of compliance for the, home and well of 7 Savory Lane. The second is for the dock that was never done. The third is for UpTac Culvert, the DEP certificate of compliance, and the fourth signature is the local certificate of compliance for UpTac Culvert. So that is what this all is. And I will pass that along to you, sir. Oh, I have a bright blue one. I don't know.
Right, blue legal on this?
Yeah, it's fine.
no photocopy? That's the reason that a lot of blue inks are not legal, because they don't photocopy.
Here, you want to, this one's black. Here, pass this down so you can.
I mean, copiers are,
Well, it's
that's a
the
prehistoric,
it's the registry of deeds though that what you said made me worried because they can
they
be
probably have 150-year-old copiers.
well, I'm more so I know they can be finicky with certain things.
Yeah.
With I'm sure good reason.
They don't want blue ink?
I don't know, but Terry made me nervous.
It's
so.
easier just to use black.
Yeah, but
Blue and black is legal, but light
Trouble
blue
with-
might not.
This is a very light blue.
the trouble with the black is that you can't tell if it's a copy or an original. So I've gone there with all black signatures and they claim, oh no, that's not an original document, and there's no way to really know.
Wow.
No, they
If you understand-
rejected.
If you understand ink, you.
No, but they
know.
rejected something I was
Yeah,
trying to
I'm not saying they
register.
didn't reject it, I'm just saying if you understand ink, you know what's an original and what's a. Anyway, move to accept the June 28th, 2023 minutes with, once Annie decides whether boilerplate is one word or 2 words.
Wow, that's attention to
Did I
detail, Terry.
do it differently each time?
On one page.
Oh wow.
I don't know how many other, actually, that's the only one I saw, but that's just because it was on one page. It's on the last page. I think boilerplate's one word, but I know it's not different depending on. And did you do a boilerplate for permit link?
Yes, we did that
Okay,
back in June. Yeah.
so a motion's on the floor.
I was absent, so
Well, you get to abstain then if you want to.
abstain.
I will second.
places
Any
there.
discussion?
So, other than that,
I didn't see anything.
yeah, I only gave him a quick purview here.
Is this still you doing these, Andy, or did you get someone?
Still me.
Oh,
That's why we're so
we,
far
we
behind.
appreciate your service.
And value.
A boilerplate, yes.
So I could abstain from that since I'm not there.
All right. Moved and seconded, right?
Yes.
All in favor of accepting the minutes from June 28, 2023 with minor corrections, say aye,
Aye.
Abstain.
and 2 abstentions. Okay. Ready for Annie to give us her conservation agent update.
Alrighty, so as far as we know, November 1st was the official start of the seasonal restriction. 106 King Street, Katy Lane, they have stabilized all of their work that's jurisdictional, so they are all set. You will still see them working, but it will be on lots that are not jurisdictional. 369, I think, Main Street, that one right along the river. They were in for perimeter drainage, et cetera. They are holding off until the spring. Their contractor was just too far outside of it. The contractor was very booked out. The septics have been completed, waiting on an application for a certificate of compliance, but everything's been stabilized.
Is that address?
For the septic system, I think 175 King Street.
In the previous one, the Main Street one?
That was, I always screw this one up with another one, so let me just confirm. Thank you. I did get it wrong. It's 379 Main Street. I had it
That's the
correctly.
one, the holding off, right?
Correct. 27 Wood Street, they did their tree work, left all the stumps in place, seasonal restriction kicked in, they stopped work. They're looking to get access to the back portion of the lot where that home is actually being built, well outside of our jurisdiction through an abutter's property. The J. Ogden hasn't gotten that confirmation yet, but just if you see stuff there, it's most likely
You came in
happening.
through the back.
Exactly. They're waiting on also, there's a long lead time on precast culverts too, so who knows, he's gonna keep me updated as far as the culvert situation goes. Mike and I did a pre-construction visit there last week or 2 weeks ago, and he is aware of the rules. If anything, he would be in just to get the culvert in once it's available, just to keep the project moving.
How far away do they think that is? Months?
Yeah, I don't,
Oh, after the seasonal restriction,
no,
probably.
if
Probably.
anything, it would be like February or March,
Oh,
I think, based
okay.
on what he said. It was gonna be a few months, but, and then for the school, they did order everything. It's just, they're waiting for stuff to come in. Seeing how West Newbury does it versus how we do it, they provide their applicant homeowner with the little plaques to be put on the, granite marker. I think it probably wouldn't, I don't think it would be a bad idea for us to do.
Be just as a policy?
Yeah, just order 100 and see what happens. It would last us a long time. I think when you order them, like, they only needed 4 or 6, I believe, so it was fairly
So this is
expensive.
exactly what we wanted to say.
I mean, we do say what we wanted to say, but looking at ours and then looking at the ones West Newbury has, they have like their little town seal on it.
Oh, that
and
sounds
it
so cool.
looks nicer than ours
Yeah.
does. And also ours were very expensive. They were $75 per plaque.
Really?
Yeah. The granite posts were over 1,000.
Well, that's a whole different story.
That makes more sense to me, but
How much are the little things from West Newbury?
they use a different material. They just do like a little punched out metal type
It's
thing.
metal, it's not plastic.
Correct. So I need to investigate further. I
Yeah.
can reach out to their agent and see where they get theirs from, but in talking to her previously, I think she said she orders them in bulk, and so the cost of them drops significantly. I think she said they were either $3 or $5 or something
that's-
like that.
Yeah, I mean, we put enough of a burden making them get
That-
granite posts.
That was kind of my thought as well, and also, like Stephanie just said, it will ensure it has the proper information on it. And also,
Town seal.
potentially,
Which
but it's
I-
also kind of like it's not a meat in the middle, but an olive branch of sorts, you could say. So, just a suggestion, if the commission wants, I can start looking into it more, but, because it
great.
would involve, I would think, changing kind of my handout that I give to people, saying that we would provide it. But I'll get a quote and see what that would look like. And then on a very different related note, the town administrator today posted both the town planner job and the conservation agent job. I am looking to pursue furthering my education, and with this job, I cannot do that.
Annie Schindler, I refuse to accept this.
This is not me leaving by any stretch of the imagination.
Sounds like it.
I know it, we're hoping that we can reorganize things in a way where the position is much more manageable. You've probably been able to tell the last few months have been incredibly busy as the town planner and conservation agent. I was also managing a lot of the grants, and not managing in the overall management, but doing a lot of boots on the ground work, even though it's really computer work for the grants. And one person cannot do the job of both the town planner and the conservation agent. So we're hoping that by splitting them, we'll be able to figure out a much more manageable way for that.
Okay, but your
to work.
conservation, I don't really care about town planner.
So we are, just if you see that, it doesn't mean I'm going anywhere. I mean, in municipal government, I'm not, the goal is not for me to leave. We're working on a way to better structure the department, because it can't just be
No,
one
it was
person.
always too much.
It
We
was,
thought
so.
it was cool, but it's too much.
It is cool. This doesn't mean I'm leaving. It's just kind of us and, exploring a more manageable way, because there's simply no way anyone could do this job. And I do, again, want to pursue further education, and I can't do planning, zoning, conservation. It just doesn't work out. So that's that. Honestly, partly. The minutes are incredibly time consuming for 3 different boards that have, often have 2-hour-long meetings. It's very time consuming, and I wasn't able to find anyone, but we're working on it. We'll figure it out. Rebecca and I have our game plan, so we'll figure out a way that all boards are properly served, because I just wasn't able to do it. Well, again, I want to go back to school, so that's that. And that's all I got.
Any questions for Annie?
Why?
Can we vote on this?
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be fair.
All in favor?
Open discussion. So I am expecting in December to hear some updates on 2 particular things. One is the VZ reforestation project that Diane Plantamera is working on. She should be ready next month to come in and give us an update where things stand. Been very busy this fall, has accomplished quite a bit, and right now is planning on her plantings for the spring, so that's pretty good. So I won't say any more about it. And the other update is on the Lucille's Cottage project. Working on getting the final report together from both the architect and the artist, who were consultants on both Phase 1 and Phase 2. Phase 2 isn't done, but I think what I'd like to get is an update to the commission for where it stands today, because just the future, what's going to happen. I think we're going to have to make some decisions on this stuff, so the more information we have, the better. And then I'm expecting, hopefully in January or so, we'll get the draft report from the VZ sustainability study that's being done by another consultant. So, again, we'll have to be making some decisions on that. So, just those things are coming. It will require us to do some reading of them and hear from the people who did them. Any other items for open discussion? I don't have anything. Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, just on October 27th, I think it was a Friday, I was out with the fourth graders again in Town Forest. They went out there, they had 3 field trips, and I made it to 2 of them. Annie, I think, did you make it to one of them?
No, I wasn't able to this year.
She had this planning board stuff for the Conservation Commission, and she was doing notes for
Writing
somebody else.
applications to school.
Yeah, things like that, yeah.
But anyways, I
Notes for the
think,
kids.
so working with Ms. Carrie Gale, I think she really appreciates it, so.
So, Annie and I were planning on going to Town Forest and just surveying it. We did go to Center Street Greenway, but we didn't make it to Town Forest. So how's it look there?
Looks okay. I mean, now it's just slightly treacherous with the leaves on the path, so
Yeah.
that was one thing I had to make sure. But the paths are well marked,
Yep.
especially as you get closer to Nichols Village.
Yep.
And then the other side, that's, yeah, I mean, it all looks good. That's where they cross the road there. That's where they go. They tend to go with the biologist and
Yeah.
do their lesson on that side. But yeah, it looked good.
How are those little pine trees doing? Are they?
Terry, you should go in there. You wouldn't believe what the place looks like.
Does that mean?
Town Forest, you mean?
Town Forest, it's so grown up.
Good, good. That's the dream.
Yes.
So you guys went out to Center Street Greenway?
Yep.
Matt and I got lost out there last 2 months ago.
But you must have found your way out.
Well, I had the dog, so he
Oh.
brought us out, yeah.
Yes, so we were just looking at the water department had done some well,
Exploration.
yes, out there, so we're looking at that. And that was about it.
Okay.
So the 8-acre turtle mitigation area over there, I'm still pursuing the water department and the highway department to put the boulders up to prevent anybody from driving into
Yeah.
that. But so it's not done yet. I'm hoping it will get done this year, but I don't know. All right, anything else? So, I don't think we have any other items not reasonably anticipated, and believe our next meeting is December 13th. We don't need to meet again in November because it's Thanksgiving and everything coming up. So, Annie's going to be away that night, right? But we should be able to be fine.
Yeah, I'll make sure everything's ready for you, and I'll put like a memo together. I've done it for zoning and planning before when I've had to miss meetings. Just if I have any comments or questions or anything about any agenda items, you'll basically get an agenda with my comments. So in the meeting packet will go out per usual and all of that stuff, so.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All in favor? At 8:15.
Think about whether we want to adjourn or not.